Fallout New Vegas became one of the most popular Fallout games in the entire series, and I'm gonna explain to you why that is. Holy shit.
You got what you were after, so pay up.
You're crying in the rain, Pally.
Guess who's waking up over here?
Time to cash out.
Will you get it over with?
Maybe cons kill people without looking them in the face. But I ain't a fink. Dig? You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
So I'm gonna go over the gameplay and the mechanics of Fallout New Vegas. So Fallout New Vegas opens up staring at a sexy mustache bald guy. Well, anyways, choosing a character name, it doesn't really impact the story at all. I just put Clancy because I really don't know why. I really couldn't think of another name to go through, but you can pick whatever name you want. Like I said, it doesn't affect any kind of story or it doesn't change anything. And once you go through, you can actually customize your character. For being a 14-year-old game, this is pretty good. You know, the graphics isn't all there. It's an old game, so it's not going to have the best graphics, but for its day and age of that year, it had really good graphics for that day and age, and it was really good. So the character customization for this is probably better than most games that I played in the past, which is very good, and I respect that. So Fallout New Vegas is one of those games I had to really adapt to. It's not like your typical FPS shooter, like Call of Duty or anything like that. It is a 14-year-old game. In 2010, your Pip-Boy is going to be mainly your main priority. It's also used to check your main quests, weapons, inventory, and track quests. You can check your map locations and have areas you're specifically to check your map quests, weapons, inventory, and a track quest. You can also check your map locations and the area you're specifically in. It's really straightforward, but you will find different weapons to use throughout your playthrough. Learning how to control the aiming and the bullet drop, it was quite challenging. Sometimes you have to literally adapt. Coming from a Call of Duty player, just, aiming and shooting, it just, expect the bullets to hit. And Fallout New Vegas, it is way different. Don't expect to hit your shots right away. You literally have to teach yourself how to basically aim and shoot and have patience. And without having like hours and beyond hours of playing Fallout New Vegas, I taught myself, like, you know what, you gotta shoot and you just gotta practice. And it's not like Call of Duty where it's not like hit scan. You're just not gonna like get the bullet instantly. You're not gonna kill them instantly, if that makes sense. There's a lot of bullet drop in this game, especially with snipers. So it's gonna be really hard to get headshots, or I guess it makes it more rewarding, because bullet drop, if it just hit scan, you kill them, shoot them. But with bullet drop, you can actually like take your time and shoot your gun and actually feel the gun in your hands and, well, in your controller, whatever platform you're playing on. But you guys understand, because if you guys played Fallout New Vegas, you understand how the bullet drop is, and it's very unique in its own way, and it's not your typical FPS. I do like it, but I hated it in the beginning. The most part, that's just how I am with every time I try to play a game and adapt to it. But over time, I got used to using the guns, like using a badass flamethrower. That was also badass. I think it's huge on your character. If you play in third person, the wide character and the field of view on that is absolutely insane. And when I used the flamethrower, it was so cool and badass, and I had really fun with it. And using the snipers were really fun. Using the shotguns were really effective up close, trying to stay mobile, and using snipers for like far away distance and just killing stuff, and melee for like up close, and really changing your builds and how you want to approach every mission or every enemy, however you want to play it. It's pretty unique and it's pretty fun. So one of my favorites about Fallout New Vegas is you also have a massive open world to explore, from zombies to other enemies from different regions of the game of the difficulty. It will show you how difficult the enemies are. I played on very easy, and the difficulty to get adapting to Fallout New Vegas is using a melee build. That's what I was using, but trying to if you're If your difficulty is like too high, it's on like on hard. I just pulled it down to very easy because this is my first playthrough. This was my first Fallout game. I haven't played any previous Fallout games before. I have, but bits and pieces, and I decided to just go with very easy so I can just basically adapt to the game and just learn how the game plays and the mechanics and learn why this game is so popular and a masterpiece to others. And to really play on that lower difficulty, it has to, adapt to me, if that makes any sense. So the melee build was really fun. Just switching to a weapon or a melee or a sniper to even a grenade launcher is really awesome. It adds more variety to the gameplay. So other than just using one weapon, it's like, oh, this is boring. I'm just gonna switch it up. I'm gonna use a melee weapon and just go, swinging like a crazy motherfucker, going crazy. And using a melee weapon is actually really effective in this game. Like if you just create a good build, you can actually create a build for anything. But if you work towards the right skills and whatever you want to, you can actually make anything pretty much OP in your playstyle, which is why New Vegas is pretty freaking awesome. What I noticed first while playing Fallout New Vegas is the dialogue. The dialogue is probably the most important thing inside of Fallout New Vegas. Everything you pick, every dialogue you pick is going to be pretty much, it's going to be very important for your future of how you progress to the main story of Fallout New Vegas is through dialogue. And that's going to be very important. You need to pick wisely, unless you like mess up a dialogue, or you can go back and load up to a different save and bring it back and rewind it kind of thing. But the dialogue with highly change the way you story progress depending on what you choose, and there's different endings too. All the quests can be overwhelming at first, but focusing on leveling up your character to unlock certain perks, to unlock your certain areas early, you have that option. Like I said in the beginning, instead of just rushing through your gameplay experience, you can actually do a shit ton of side quests, level up your character, get your build together so you understand what you're doing inside of your game. Then you can implement that into your gameplay and just freak up everything. I know I'd say freak because I'm trying to like slow down on the swearing because YouTube monetization, you say one little cuss word, it's like, nope, you're not making no money on this. But overall, try to cut down the cursing a little bit. I'll say a few curse words, but not like, F this and F that. Like I said, make sure to pick wisely on the dialogue because that's very heavily in this game. And that's cool with me because it adds a variety of different gameplay and options, and not everyone's gonna have the same walkthrough, which is cool. So for me, my first playthrough of a Fallout game, I played bits and pieces of other Fallout games, but Fallout New Vegas was my first playthrough. There's just so many story options. It's actually insane. Sleeping, also, if you find a bed, sleeping can actually regen health or recover any broken limbs. So if you're like half health or have 1 HP, you can actually go to bed and sleep to however many hours you pick. You sleep, you come back, and basically you're full HP. But the only thing that doesn't go away is the poisonous. I think it's the radiation poisonous. I figured that's the only thing that you can't really sleep away from. You have to go to like a medical center located on your map on the open world, and basically you spend your scrapper coins, whatever you give them, exploring the world and just looting stuff, and you use that to basically get that poison radiation off your body. And then that adds more variety of gameplay too, other than just sleeping and just get it totally rid of it. That would just be pointless. I like how they added that, so like a medical center, that's really cool. What I really noticed about Fallout New Vegas is depending on what area you are in, the weather will dynamically, I can never say that word, dynamically, it will change based on the area. What I mean by that is if you're like in a desert area or a snowy area or in a dust storm, it feels like you're actually in that area. So if you're like in a dust storm, it makes you feel like you're in a dust storm. It's not like, you're in a desert area and just nothing, just sunny outside. There's actually dust rolling around you, and there's actually weather happening as you're playing the game, which is very awesome. And this is what I liked about the Division 2, where there's a bunch of weather mechanics that happen throughout your gameplay experience. So you're not feeling like you're bored and just you're kind of in the same environment. So if you go outside, one day it's raining and one day it's cloudy, one day it's sunny, or one day it's snowing or icing or hailing, you implement that into a specific area you are inside of the game, and that really changes the way you feel how you're exploring these areas inside of Fallout New Vegas. And that's how I felt. Like everything felt new and refreshed. If I entered like a desert area and feeling the dust storm, it felt really cool and refreshing. Developers can actually add this effect other than you just, nothing happening, you're just running. It just adds a cool little effect of how you just play and just fight other enemies. It can be really quite annoying. The dedication that goes to this kind of aspect of the game is actually pretty freaking awesome. So credit to Fallout New Vegas for implementing these weather effects because they're pretty freaking badass. You can repair weapons or craft health upgrade skills and perks so to fit your playstyle. Your inventory space will increase once you upgrade your skills, allowing you to hold more items, and you can also customize your character on the gear you find throughout your walkthrough. So since this is kind of like a looter shooter, you're gonna really pick up different scraps and items to pretty much repair all the stuff. You can actually choose what to drop, what to keep, and it's it's a cool relationship with your inventory of what you want to keep and what not to keep. I think with the inventory, the skill gap, and how they implemented the inventory, I think that's very, very cool. And it brings a like a strategy to the table. So you don't like, you're not, you don't have everything. You're not like God mode. You literally have to pick what you want and what you want not to bring out because that adds more gameplay to it other than just having everything at once, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to explain it, but it's hard to explain it. I know how to like, say it in my head, but trying to speak it, it's like you guys know what I mean. Basically, your character on your gear you find throughout your walkthrough is pretty cool. My favorite things about Fallout New Vegas is you can explore the open world with no boundaries and no limit. You can find anything throughout the world. There's so much lore and side quests and main quests you can explore. There was this one time where I was doing a main quest and I was like, I got totally off guard. I started doing something else because I got invested into the story, and then I started to exploring other areas inside of the open world, and it was really funny. And finding new outfits, stealing enemies' clothes, and putting it on you, or it's really funny actually. But you can explore the world with no boundaries, no limits, or whatever area you're not supposed to be here, or dying in a certain area, exploring side quests, or you enter an area where you're not supposed to be here, dying in a certain area, or exploring side quests. So what I like about Fallout New Vegas is you're pretty much your boundaries are not limited. You're literally unlimited. So for example, if I was playing a different game and it told me I had to like be level 12 to access a certain area, in Fallout New Vegas, you can pretty much explore anywhere. Pretty much the enemies you face and the health gap and everything and the guns you have. That will basically tell you like what you can go up against and what you cannot. So once you experience that inside of Fallout New Vegas, you can really tell yourself like, you know what, this is probably not a good place to be right now. I'll come back later. So that's the kind of feeling that you get when you explore an open world. So you're not limited to wherever you go. You actually have the choices to explore. It's like almost like Elden Ring. If you fight your first boss, you see like a dude on a Elden tree, whatever. You see this guy boss. You see a massive boss in the beginning of the tutorial. Well, not really a tutorial, but in the beginning part of Elden Ring, you can choose to fight this guy, or you can choose to explore, go out your own direction, find another boss that can basically one tap you, and you have the option to basically explore and basically get your ass beat, other than just being locked behind a level gap where, oh, sorry, you cannot be here. You have to be level 20. It's like, nope, not in these games. You can come here, get your ass beat, or you can come back later and get stronger, basically. That's literally what I'm trying to say here. So just watch what dialogue you choose from because it heavily affects how the story plays out. Even playthrough can be different. It adds more variety and kind of randomness in a way. What I mean by that is, if you watch someone else's playthrough and if you're going through a playthrough through a game and you're watching someone else play through it, your gameplay or your walkthrough can be different from who you're watching a playthrough of this game because your dialogue will change how you play the game. So it's not going to be the same for everyone. So that adds more variety, and that's awesome. So you can literally basically play a new game, and your story can be different. Like it's actually pretty cool. So there is this ability where you can actually press RB. I'm actually playing this on Xbox Series S. I know this is. You can actually target so many enemies, target what part of the body you want to shoot. It adds a different layer of, different ways to kill enemies. So you pretty much, you bring out your Pit Boy and you can target different limbs of their bodies and just basically shoot them. And it brings out this like Max Payne, like slow motion, badass effect where you can just take them down. Then after that, you can just, kill them as you want to. But it's there, but you don't have to use it. But as I said, it adds more layer of different gameplay, and it's freaking awesome. So gameplay and strategy at moments, I felt like John Wick, well, without the pencil. As you do side quest or main quest, once you kill so many enemies, do so many side quests or main quests, whatever you're doing inside of the game, once you level up, you get a lot of XP. Once you level up, you get to choose a skill, which is categories through different things, what you want to play. There's like guns and because there is different variety of options. There's skills. So there's like barter, energy weapons, explosive guns, lockpick, medicine, melee weapons, repair, science, sneak, speed, survival, or unarmed. All these options you can use these as your advantage through your missions. So if you had a mission where you entered a safe and it says you need a certain level to lockpick this lock, you need to get a level lockpick. For example, I would need a level 20 lockpick to open the safe. So if you go through your skills and upgrade those skills, you can actually use those advantage throughout your gameplay to unlock certain areas that you couldn't without these upgrades being at a certain level battle, you can get those extra scrap, weapons, ammo, whatever, armor, whatever you want to go for, which is really cool. So you can work towards, you know, a melee build or whatever you want to, which is really cool. So you can pretty much decide what you want to play, how you want to play it, and when you want to play it. So it's very awesome. And I very like that aspect of Fallout New Vegas. It adds that kind of gameplay where you can just pick your own build and go with it. You know, some games don't do that. It's where this game gives you, you start the game and basically you use what we give you or you don't play the game at all. In this game, so much variety to do. What I noticed about Fallout New Vegas is a radiation suit is really highly recommended. Playing through Fallout New Vegas, as you will be exploding radiation, areas will be dangerous. Infections, different creatures and enemies, certain areas will require to pretty much swim underwater and certain items for a quest. So using a radiation suit is really highly recommended for Fallout New Vegas because you will enter certain areas that will be like +1, +5 radiation. And if you don't have a suit on for like a radiation suit or an advanced one on, that you pretty much die from radiation. And you can actually buy this through stores throughout the gameplay experience open world of Fallout New Vegas. You can find this pretty much anywhere. I would highly recommend having this because this can really limit you of where you want to go because some areas will have this radiation. So you don't have that suit, you can't explore that location. It's very highly recommended to have one of those. It's very important because we are playing in a nuclear world where this happens. So that makes sense. It's kind of crazy that people today that like play this game in day and age, playing a game like this, people expect graphics to be this good. This is a 2010 video game. I think this is a 2010 video game. Fallout New Vegas released in 2010. So people playing this beyond years and years after that, people like in 2024 playing this game, like, oh, these graphics look terrible, man. I'm playing this game in 2024. Graphics should be better. Well, this was released back in 2010, back in Xbox 360 days. So in that day and age, this game was a true masterpiece. And I believe it is. I didn't believe it at first, but once you actually get in the game, it's very slow in the beginning. But once you pick up on what it's actually going on and how the mechanics work, the gameplay will get more fluid and you will ramp through the gameplay, and it's actually really fun. There's gonna be raging moments where you like die from stupid stuff and like glitches and bugs, but that is just part of the game. I rage a lot, so that's really expected of me. When I say like I fucking hate this game or something at some points, it's like I rage, and it's like I truly don't mean that. When you actually complete a game from beginning to end, and it makes you want to come back to it and complete all the rest of the side quests that you haven't completed before beating the game, tells you like how good the game is. And Fallout New Vegas actually gives me that feeling. It's a Xbox 360 game, and I want to do that. So games now in 2024, it is playable through backwards compatibility through Xbox Series S and X, which changes how the graphics are a little bit, but not by much. If you actually compare the two, playing the 360 version and the Fallout New Vegas 360 version on the Xbox Series S and X through the compatibility, it actually changes the graphics of the game, but not like a remastered kind of like. It's just like, you know, kind of a enhanced FPS boost, let's just say. So it feels much better. So it's pretty much like an FPS boost, not like a graphics boost, but they don't look similar. They still look similar, but both look different, but it still plays the same way. Just the FPS boost, the boost performance in FPS because you're playing on next gen. The graphics will look kind of similar, a little different. So I'm going to get into the main story. This is going to be my playthrough of the story. I'm going to explain how my story went. Your story can be way different than mine. So if I explain something wrong, I am totally sorry. This is my first Fallout New Vegas gameplay walkthrough. So if I mess everything up, please be polite and just correct me down below because I'm not very smart at this. I'm still new at this, trying to get better at this. And I usually try to speak faster than I can think. So that's usually how that goes. The main story, the main playthrough really starts going to the gate. You end up at this gate right before the gate, before you hit New Vegas, way before that. That's when all the gameplay starts, and you can do side quests. And this is going to be right after that. If you go to the main gate, you have to pay these robots 2K scrap. So you have to do that so you don't get threatened to be killed on the spot, because I remember going there one time and just not one time, but going there at that moment, trying to get past that gate, and I just saw the robots just like kill someone right then, and I'm like, oh my god, we like in a Holocaust or something. And I went to the robot and he's like, if you don't pay this correct amount, you will not be able to pass this gate and you will be eliminated on the spot. But he really didn't say that, but that's kind of the best way to explain it.
Submit to a credit check. Thank you, madam. You may proceed.
Let's go. So I came back and I got my 2K scrap and I paid him the coins. Once you entered through the gate, you officially entered New Vegas. You will meet this character called Sherman Greer. I actually regret playing as a female because I actually regret playing as a female character because anyone calls me baby, literally.
Hey, baby doll. Welcome to the Tops Hotel and Casino.
I'm gonna have to ask you to hand over any weapons you might be carrying. Smooth and easy, just the way I like it. Don't worry, they'll be as safe as kittens till you're ready to leave. Oh, and a friendly word of advice. If you happen to stumble across any weapons during your stay here, well, just don't wear them openly. You dig? Now that we got that little business out of the way, what can I do to make your tops experience the tops? Everything your little heart desires, that's what. You like hungry? Thirsty? Or maybe you'd rather take it. Relax, babe. Have a good time, baby.
You will meet Benny. Wait, what? This character looks familiar. Wait, what? Hold up. Benny is actually completely surprised you were even alive, depending through the dialogue. You pick this will affect if you eliminate Benny or keep him alive. And this is how I went through mine. Since I'm a female, I can take that as a little advantage. In a good way. Well, in a bad way. Whatever how you look at it.
Benny's gonna show you the tops. I hope you're built sturdy, you crazy fraud. More than you ever dreamed, baby. You're platinum, pussycat. You know how to swing. Nice Charlies, too. Give him a shake for the Ben man, will you? Hello. Oh, that was a nice bit of hey-hey, girlie. You're a real ring-a-ding broad. Hold me, will you? I swear you wore me out. Huh? Oh!
We had a little romance and I got payback. Even the characters around you play through effects, what dialogue and the path you choose. So if something happens, so if for example, if Timmy ate a bag of chips and you told him not to and he didn't anyways, the characters around you be like, oh my God, he ate the chips and you told him not to. The characters all around the gameplay or whatever happens at that moment, the characters will pretty much react to that, how you play out the story, which is actually pretty cool.
Jesus. Benny's dead, and now I gotta take up the slack. This right here is the end of an era. Baby, I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. Name's Swank. This here's my joint. Baby, you stick with me, you won't have to work a day in your life. Don't fret about caps. You just sit there and look pretty for me. Ooh, I dig the way you think, doll. Here, go treat yourself. The time. Don't be a stranger, doll.
When you meet up with Victor, he reminds me of the Claptrap off of Borderlands.
Oh, hi! Didn't see you there. You probably know that a game like Borderlands doesn't just make itself. As a matter of fact, it's the combined effort of many talented individuals. Oh, hey, Steve. How are the kids? As you've no doubt seen, we're doing something very different than your average action shooter here with... Seriously? Your arm's tired? I played the Duke of Buckingham and Richard III with Ian McKellen, ass. This is Bush League.
But anyways, we talk with Victor. He explains who is Mr. House is.
Hey! Hi there! Good to meet you. What can I do for you today? Good question. My function is to monitor Mr. House's data network and decode his encrypted transmissions. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm a PDQ-88B Securitron, but you can call me Yes Man. If Mr. House is in there, though, it's the central node of his entire network. Wow. Do you have any idea how special that is? Red carpet treatment. Seems a little mean to use his invitation against him like that, but I'm sure it's all for the best. I mean, Benny was always scheming about how he was going to get into the Lucky 38, but you already took care of that. Wow. The other thing you're going to need is the platinum chip. You know, the one Benny killed a courier for over near Good Springs. I knew she was carrying the platinum chip, and I knew right where Benny should wait for her. That's why Benny put me here. to monitor Mr. House's data transmissions. They're all encrypted, of course, but I'm quite a decryptor. Did you know that Mr. House spent 812,545 caps hiring salvage teams to find the platinum chip? Just in the last year alone? Of course you didn't.
So now we got the platinum chip. So the platinum chip, we bring it to Mr. House because it serves as a software upgrade for his missile defense to prepare for the nuclear disaster. You will enter this facility talking to this Mr. House computer.
You've been a busy courier, haven't you? You take your obligation to deliver a package very seriously, an ethic for which I am grateful. I will admit, when you ignored my invitation, I predicted negative outcomes. But you have a way of exceeding expectations, don't you? Well, enough. Let's have the chip then. Decades of hiring salvagers out west to search for this little relic in the ruins of a place called Sunnyvale. Back then, anyway. That's where the chip was printed, on October 22nd, 2077. It was to have been hand-delivered to me here at the Lucky 38 the next day. But the bombs fell first. Suffice it to say, the delivery was never made. A great deal shall be happening, a cascade of events with you taking a central role. At the moment, however, all you need to do is take the elevator all the way down to the bottom level. You'll understand soon enough. Step closer to the demonstration area, if you would. I expect you're well familiar with my Securitrons by now. The titanium alloy housing that protects its electronic core deflects small arms and shrapnel easily enough. Its X-25 Gatling laser, produced to spec by House Inc., is deadly against soft targets at medium range. And for close-range suppression or crowd control, the Securitron is armed with a 9mm submachine gun. All of this you probably already knew. What you did not know is that these are the Securitron's secondary weapons. All this time, my Securitrons have had to get by running the Mark I operating system, which lacked software drivers for their primary weapons. Today, with the delivery of the Platinum chip, all that changes. Behold, for the first time, Securitrons running the Mark II OS. The M235 missile launcher gives the Securitron the ability to engage ground and air targets at significantly longer ranges. And a rapid-fire G-28 grenade ensures the Securitron is deadly in close-range engagements. The software upgrade also includes drivers for the Securitron's highly sophisticated on-board auto-repair systems. Altogether, the Mark II software upgrade confers a 235% increase in combat effectiveness per unit. The city of New Vegas finally has soldiers worthy of protecting it. Return to the penthouse now. We have much to discuss. Trips to the basement are rarely so educational, don't you think? I've since broadcast the upgrade to every Securitron in range of my transmitters, and I must say, it's causing quite a stir down on the Strip. To secure the future of New Vegas, I must have your assistance. The work ahead is dangerous, but you weather danger well. The next step will require you to infiltrate Caesar's camp at Fortification Hill. Absolutely not. Caesar is of great use to me. I don't want you harming a hair on that man's head, assuming you could find one. Not if you've been invited. You realize that you've made quite a splash here in New Vegas? I can predict with a high degree of confidence that you'll receive an official summons from Caesar, if you haven't already, that is. I'm not surprised. The Legion has spies on the Strip. Here, take the platinum chip again. You will need it. Upon arrival at the fort, it's likely that you'll be searched and the chip taken from you. Don't worry, it will come back to you.
Then we have a bunch of little side quests here, talking about we had to make a contact with Papa Khan, and this is like a totally different region there's different regions throughout the gameplay, and this is what I mean. So this is how it plays out.
The cub enters the wolf's den. What do you want, cub? You want to hear the story of the great Khans? It's a long one, full of honor, glory, and betrayal. We have suffered, but we will regain our glory. In a hurry, are you? Very well, then. The great Khans came east, out of the NCR 14 years ago. We ruled the wastes then, and called no man master. But we underestimated the families of the Strip, and they drove us back to Bitter Springs, where we remained until the NCR arrived and drove us here. They allied with Mr. House, the self-proclaimed master of New Vegas. He supported them with the resources of New Vegas. Weapons, technology, caps. They were better equipped, and we could not stand against them. When the NCR came to the Mojave, we thought they would be easy pickings. We raided their caravans, their towns, their camps. They couldn't stop us. At least that's what we thought. They tracked us to Bitter Springs and surrounded us. When our children, our sick and old, fled through a nearby pass, the NCR gunned them down. It's because of that we have sworn to take revenge on the NCR. With our new allies in Caesar's Legion, we will crush them. Typical. No reference for history in the younger generations. Have you now? Well, you're a bold one, I'll give you that. But why should I do this for you? Don't you dare mention the NCR under this roof. They are butchers without honor, killers of women and children. I won't hear any more talk against Caesar or his alliance. The great Khans will answer Caesar's call to war, and the NCR will pay for their crimes. You march all the way out to Red Rock Canyon, enter my home as bold as you please, and you have no idea who I am? You've got guts, I'll give you that. Well then, let me educate you. I am the chief of the great Khans. The Khan of Khans, if you like. This is my tribe, and these are my people. Farewell.
I heard you try to convince Papa Khan not to join with Caesar's Legion. I'd like to talk to you about that for a moment. You want to convince Papa not to ally with Caesar, right? Trust me, you'll get nowhere just talking to him about it. He's fixated on restoring the glory of the great Khans, and he sees Caesar as the path to that restoration. Papa can be a stubborn man, but he's not a tyrant. He listens to his tribe, and to 4 voices in particular: me, Jack, Diane, and Melissa. If you can convince all of us that allying with Caesar is a bad idea, you might be able to sway him. You'd have to talk to them, but those 2 have been thick as thieves since they were kids. Convince one, and the other will come around. Ah, Melissa. She's a bit of a dreamer. Last time she was in camp, Carl filled her head with stories of serving the Legion as a speculatore. Personally, I've never seen a woman in Legionnaire's armor, so I have my doubts. Good. Oh, one more thing. Caesar's representative, Carl, has become fast friends with Pava. Carl's the one who has him so fixated on this alliance. You'll probably have an easier time of things if you can find a way to get him out of the picture. I would too, if I were you.
So after that, after returning to Mr. House and completing all his objectives, a message saying, "You're committing to the fight for an independent Vegas." After returning to Mr. House and completing all his objectives, a message saying, "You are committing to the fight for an independent Vegas at the battle for Hoover Dam, which will determine the fate of a new Vegas."
Oh, hi. If you say so, consider them filed away under not to be dis. That's 4 down. Just 1. Okay. Consider them forgotten. Along with the projections that predict they'll be our biggest enemy. Forgotten. That accounts for all the tribes you needed to get to know. You did a super job wrapping things up, and I'm not just saying that because I have to. Here's some big news. I decoded a military radio transmission, and it turns out the NCR president, Aaron Kimball, is going to visit Hoover Dam. I guess he wants to boost the troops' morale, but according to... Anyway... For this... Take... Great! When this is taken care of... Don't you love seeing the... Too bad about President Kimball and everything. But hey, exciting news! The Legion's massing troops in a staging area east of the dam. Attack imminent! Monster of the East ready to roll! Great! So I've been looking over Mr. House's force projection. It turns out you could route the dam's power output to the facility. That'll wake up the Securitron army you left on stand. The other option, you don't... Good.
For decades to come. If you want to do anything before this point, you can. So you can do any side quest or whatever you want to do before you actually go in here. This mission is quite chaotic. Enter this bunker underground facility, take down enemies, you go under gun blazing for the final battle. And I brought out this grenade launcher, just gun blazing. You can actually just do what you want down here. It's kind of just straightforward. You just keep going straight for all the objectives, clear all the enemies, and it's very helpful. Also, I got this little friend robot that I found early on in the side quest of the game, which is pretty cool. So he helps me defeat enemies on the way through battle. So I find that kind of cool. You can actually tell him to do certain things to, like, stay back or stay close or fire at people or do melee. It's actually kind of cool. You can actually control him in your own way, but in the long hand, he will help you throughout your journey, which is actually pretty badass. So once you come across the final boss, Legate Lannis, or work around him through dialogue, you can choose to actually kill him, or you can use the skills you built up for speech and knowing. You can choose to kill Legate Lannis or choose to work around his dialogue to pretty much let him go, or you can choose to kill him. And this is what I decided to do.
Retribution! Like that. Had enough? Retribution! Had enough? Up.
Caesar on the cross. Then could use a... Guess it ain't no secret how... Figured as much. Come on, you sons of...
You did a super job wrapping things up, and I'm not just saying that because I have to. I didn't want to make a big deal about this until after we won, but, well, I found some code snippets in one of Mr. House's databanks that will let me, reprogram my personality to be a little more assertive, basically. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and it's going to take me a while, so it'll seem like I'm offline. But don't worry, everything will be okay. I've updated the Securitron's targeting parameters so they know what to do. Vegas will be protected. So that's where I'll be, off making a few changes. And I guess I'll see you around. We accomplished a lot together. It was fun. Take care.
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave Wasteland was forever changed. The courier, with the aid of Yes Man, drove both the Legion and the NCR from Hoover Dam, securing New Vegas's independence from both factions. With Mr. House out of the picture, part of the Securitron army was diverted to the Strip to keep order. Any chaos on the streets was ended. Quickly. Chaos became uncertainty, then acceptance with minimal loss of life. New Vegas assumed its position as an independent power in the Mojave.
Supporting all of the chaos that comes with independence, the Courier was the woman responsible for a truly free New Vegas. She ensured the fall of Mr. House and the end of the Legion's and NCR's influence over New Vegas.
Black Mountain Radio continued to broadcast his peculiar form of propaganda. Raul Tejada faced his execution each day, though pardoned in the end. Travelers venturing too near Black Mountain continued to be harassed by Tabitha's followers.
With little law left in the wasteland, the Boomers continued to defend themselves against the prospectors and scavengers invading their territory.
After the Courier ensured New Vegas remained free, the followers found that independent Vegas was even more unstable and violent than before. Old Mormon Fort became excessively burdened by the influx of patients, struggling to provide even the most basic of services.
With New Vegas's independence formally declared, Goodsprings thrived. More travelers stopped by Goodsprings on their way to and from the Strip, and the locals grew prosperous from the traffic.
With the king dead and most of their gang slain by the Courier, the remaining kings fled the area, never to be heard from again.
Though Novak was a low-priority target for the Legion, many of Novak's citizens died in its defense. In the weeks that followed, several bright followers returned to Novak to help restore its defenses, allowing it to remain independent of NCR.
After Hoover Dam, the leaderless powder gangers at the correctional facility vanished into the wastes, leaving the prison empty. The correctional facility became another abandoned ruin in the wasteland, its carcass occasionally picked over by enterprising prospectors.
Armed with a wide array of improvised explosives and stolen weapons, the Vault 19 powder gang tormented the Mojave wasteland for years. Citizens of the NCR were favorite targets, and they always suffered the worst fates.
Despite NCR's pledge to support Prim, they abandoned the town after their loss to the Courier. Independent again, Prim operates much as it had before the powder gangs arrived, full of ups and downs.
And so the Courier's road came to an end, for now. In the new world of the Mojave Wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.